Hello and welcome to 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Today has been action-packed day right there in Tokyo because we saw a whole lot of Nigerians are in action at the track and field event. Tobi Amusan and Ese, Brume, Enoch Adegoke, Itsekiri also were in action for Team Nigeria today. But just so sad that we have not actually we get to win a medal yet at the Olympic Games. But we are hopeful because two of our athletes are in the finals of the Olympic Games. These and many more will be coming to you on this episode of 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Olawale Ayen, and I have with me in the studio, I have Alpha. Alpha, how you doing?
I'm good. Once again, pleasure to be here.
Of course, Chubuzo make a return on the show. Chubuzo, how you doing today?
I think I'm good. So far, so good.
Of course, Dapo all the way from Lagos joining us today on the show. It has been wet a Sunday in Abuja. How is Lagos today, Dapo?
Lagos is dry. Lagos is cool. We're all right.
Of course, Wale all the way from London, UK also join us on the show. Wale, how are you doing today? It seems that the Great Britain actually are getting to climb on the medal table. Are you really happy with that?
I am, but I'll be extremely very happy when my fatherland Nigeria gets to bring the medals. Be on the medal table. So far, it's been wonderful for Great Britain, and just like Dapper said, it's actually cool here today. We had a bit of rain, but it's still warm, and we're looking forward to an exciting program today.
Of course, we want to start with Itsekiri and also Enoch Adegoke getting to reach the semi-finals of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Talking about the 100 meters event, Enoch Adegoke actually proceed to the final, and also Itsekiri actually lost in the place for the final. But at this point in time, the final has been concluded. Italy athlete actually emerged winners in that particular. But let's just talk about the semi-final, event that actually happened earlier on today. After looking at the semi-final event, Adegoke, he actually he came second in his own heat. Itsekiri actually came seventh in his own heat, and he couldn't qualify for the finals. But looking at the performance, what are your take on them?
It was a good performance. Initially started brightly. And we're really hoping that something special was going to happen. But at the end of the day, it wasn't to be for no fault of his. Particularly, in the middle of action, it was just unfortunate that he had to come down with a muscle pull, and as a result of that, he couldn't continue the race. So.
Looking at his performance in the semi-final, he finished at 10.00 seconds behind the person that actually finished at 10.98 seconds for him, to proceed to the finals. He actually he didn't actually move up because in his first heat he finished with a 9.98 seconds. But looking at the performance, what do you think actually went wrong in the semi-final event
for him?
Yes.
Maybe loss of steam at some point, but I thought it was a good performance, for him to even make it to the final. But what I was really concerned about was that after making it to the final, after putting in much effort to make it to the final, he couldn't eventually complete the race. So a sad one for him and sad one for Nigerians. We really hope that at least he had the opportunity of maybe snapping up a bronze or something at least, but unfortunately it wasn't to be.
Chibuzo, looking at our performance today, athletics event in the men's 100 meters heat, Itsekiri didn't make it to the finals, but a certain Enoch Adegoke, the fastest man in Nigeria, and also not getting that to win a medal. So sad that it was, muscle pull actually, came in and he could not actually complete that race.
I can only imagine how devastated he must feel now because for him to have come that far, and if you look at it again, it wasn't as if he did too badly because of the race.
Yeah.
Of course, talks here and there that he had a relatively poor start, and that perhaps the reason why that happened was he was trying. This is what some pundits are putting out there, but overall he wasn't doing too badly, in the course of the race. So it's really sad. It's really sad that the way he did, but I think the overall, beat himself too badly. He shouldn't beat himself so hard about it. It happens, in the game, but perhaps lessons will be learned going forward, and hopefully, competition.
Of course, 2020 Paris is the big deal at this point in time. But Wale, looking at Itsekiri and Enoch Adegoke's performance today, what do you actually pick up of them?
I think they both gave a good account of themselves. They don't forget that field is actually a very strong field. Both of them, none of them is in. Have actually won the African title or the record holder, because they are the South African Akani Sambini to beat for that. So but it was just quite unfortunate, because I read a message from Ese Brume, our long jump Olympian long jump athlete, who said something about Enoch Adegoke, that once he gets out of the blocks before you find it very difficult to catch him. Just like Chibuso said, he kind of like had a very slow start, and I think trying to pull, and catch up with the field, he then pulled his hamstring, which was really bad. I think just like everyone's agreed, there's a lesson to be learned here. We've heard some some messages going around saying purportedly from his Nigerian coach, who was left at home and didn't come with him, that because of his strong muscles, he could have had a therapist. I don't know if we're still going to talk about that anyway. But if you notice, what happened between the semi-finals and the finals? I mean, we also need to look at that. Did you have therapists looking at him? People actually taking care of him, preparing him for the final. Not, because it was more like our only hope at that time. What happened in between that? I'll be very much interested to find out what actually happened with semi-finals and the final. Was he well rested enough? Was he advised? What really happened between the gap between that semi-finals and final? But all said and done, that's all gone now. We have to put that back. But the issue now is, are we going to learn from this come 2024? Are we going to look at what has happened and then learn from it and look at the data, look at everything that's happened, and then work on how to improve on what has happened? That would be a question for the Federation and obviously Sports Ministry. And again, the athlete to look into. But I'm sure as time goes on, there'll be very much to talk about Enoch Itsekiri. I think I lost you there, Wale. I'm sure Dapo probably also lost you. Could you come again with that, please?
Yeah.
Wale, if you can hear us, I'm not sure we can. Dapo, can you hear Wale?
No, I can't hear Wale, but I can hear you. I can
Okay.
hear you, Wale, but I can't hear Wale here.
Okay, maybe we'll have to continue with the show. You and I, Dapo.
It's okay. I think it's network. The network to get back.
Yeah. But Dapo, what do you think about these semi-finals and the finals, especially in regards to Itsekiri and Enoch? What do you think could have been done better?
Well, for Itsekiri, at the moment, nothing anybody can do about it because he pulled an hamstring, and that is expected in major sports where you exert so much energy. That happened. It was an injury. Not anybody couldn't do anything about that. You just have to take it as its way, and you will plan for another day. This one has come and gone for him, so maybe he still needs to work on his diet. So sometimes when you have a particular substance, I'm talking about dietary, not banned substances anyway. You have some dietary, yes, you have some dietary, deficiencies. You are bound to have, multiple more regularly than normal, and that, coming at this point in time is quite unfortunate. But be that as it may, he's still there. He's an Olympian already. He got to the semi-finals at the Olympics. That is an achievement alone. You can beat his chest and go about that. Or at least he is a world-class athlete at this point. And therefore, Adegoke, very fantastic performance from him. And I think we should go ahead. I think tomorrow is the final. Tomorrow is final. I think there's some Monday finals. Or I saw in the. Have they actually run that race? I think it's only the female where the Jamaican.
No, they ran the male finals, and the Le Mans Jacobs of Italy won. So Adegoke also struggled, had a hamstring and couldn't finish.
Okay.
Yeah. So the final was about a few hours ago. Okay. So what do you? Why do you think? Why do you think? I don't know if Wale is back. Wale, if you're back, please let us know. But what do you think is this? What do you think that is a problem with regards to? We've got two of our top athletes pulling up due to hamstrings. First it was Itsekiri, the semi-finals, and then the final with Adegoke also pulling up with the hamstring. Could this be something that could have been averted? And we've had people talking about, don't they have a therapist? Don't they have a masseur there? Don't they have a medical team that could probably look at these guys between those two races, before it happened? Do you share this opinion too?
Well, at the moment, it's not about, therapists. I may actually accept that, because there's a need for a dietitian in the team, especially to them. Maybe something they have been eating that is not compatible with their body system. That brings such illnesses at the time you don't actually expect. Maybe there's a particular thing they've been eating, a particular food they've been eating they should not be eating. It's just the same way for Itsekiri happening to Adegoke. So that tells you something is wrong somewhere, dietary, in terms of their diets. Yeah. So they need to work on it, and possibly not having enough rest going into these Olympics. When you're going to the Olympics, you are supposed to have enough rest. It happened to Okagbare before in past Olympics. She got herself. That's what they say. When you get burnt, you burn yourself out. Running Diamond League, running races for survivor to get some money and not to pay bills and stuff like that. So by the time it gets to the Olympics and you have not rested enough, you are bound to fall aside with issues with your muscles, because we are not woman, we are human, we are not machines. What we are using blood. It's blood and water running through our body. So those two factors may have contributed to what happened to first to Itsekiri, then to Adegoke. But they cannot, from the same country, having multiple at the time is the highest point. So it's something back to their diet. I'm very, very sure about that. And also possibly they did not have enough rest coming into the Olympics, So they are just coming for the very first time, and so the anxiety is there. I want to perform. I want to make something out of it, and they will stress themselves out or stretch themselves in terms of training, which is not necessary when you are going to the Olympics.
Hello, can you hear me?
Wale, yes, you're back now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Of course. Okay.
Okay, Wale is back here.
Yeah.
Okay. Alpha, looking at the incident that just happened with Enoch Adegoke, we are actually hearing what they were saying. Could you have been adverted talking about the muzzle pull?
Well, I don't know how you avert a muscle pull. It's something that just happened. These things happen. If it was something that he had foreseen or he was expecting, I'm sure he would have. He would have been treated or sort of. So I don't think anybody saw that coming. So the question of averting it, Adegoke is quite very muscular. So I don't know. Maybe it could be as a result of maybe his training regime or something. But something went wrong, and these things happen in sports. So it takes a lot of strength, muscles, and all of that when you're sprinting and all that. So I think in the course of it. Maybe he pushed himself too hard, but I really can't put my finger on what really went wrong. But it's quite unfortunate anyway.
Okay, looking at what his personal home-based coach actually said, talking about Coach Amutiu, he actually said it is true. Adegoke is prone to eat. The reason why we always have a good therapist on all the teams he makes. He has a large muscle, so it will take a good therapist to prepare him in between the race, especially when they are close, like less than 2 hours apart. But sad, people drop the therapist that worked on him at the National Sports Festival. That's actually coming from the home base coach of Enoch Adegoke. Looking at the coach reaction. So sad that even his foreign coach could not actually make it to the Olympics due to the fact that he was not accredited. But at this point in time, there was no therapist. His personal coach was not there. Could it be the possible reason of why Adegoke actually went through that particular issue?
I think the comment by this coach is quite insightful, and I think he paints a clear picture now as to why such an incident would happen. So this brings the question all over again: how prepared were our athletes for this, really, and how not just the athletes themselves, but how prepared or how equipped were our athletes for this, for our team, for this experience. If the coach could point out these basic lapses, then it shows you that there's a whole lot to be uncovered about what we have gone to do in Tokyo. It's really interesting, absolutely interesting. And I think I don't know if it's Wale or Mr. Dakota, I made that point at some point, that there's a need to do an in-depth investigation on what actually we went to do in Tokyo. The gaffes and all of the funny occurrences are just too ludicrous to gloss over. It's unimaginable, for goodness sake, that you go to a tournament like this without the right sets of people. And if you check properly, you might have some people who have no business being there.
Yeah.
And so this throws a lot of questions. But like I said some time back, we might just come back from the Olympics, gloss over this, and then we look forward to the next competition, and to be business as usual. But it will be very sad, and this sends a very terrible. I can imagine how the international community is looking at it. The sporting world is looking at us right now. It's absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely. No, come on. It's just a mess.
Too embarrassing. That is actually coming from Chubuzo. But Wale, looking at Adegoke actually he becomes the first Nigerian to reach the 100 meters finals in 25 years. The last time that we actually the last time that we actually got to the finals was in Atlanta '96. A particular Davidson Ezenua was the athlete that actually qualified Nigeria to the final, but he couldn't actually pick a medal. But different quarters are actually saying Adibin, the buzzer pool didn't actually happen, that Enoch Adegoke should have actually brought a bronze medal home to Nigeria. Do you actually believe in that?
I think to start with, I think it's very inconceivable that this is the first time Nigerian as a Nigerian male athlete had qualified for the 100 meters at the Olympics. You kind of wonder, is it really true? And when you look through the Olympics, history since '96, when one of the Ezewan brothers, Davidson, qualified, you actually were like, that's true, because when I first heard it, I was like, no, that can't be true. Then I checked it and I said, well, that's true. I mean, it's very unbelievable. But for Adegoke to do that, I mean, it's a very big plus for him, despite all the problems we've had with the AFN and the sports ministry. For him to qualify to be the first Nigerian since '96 to do that, I think it's a very big thumbs up for him. Would he have won a medal in that star-studded lineup field today? It's debatable. It's very debatable. He's a strong fella. He's a very good runner. I think what we need to do is obviously to work on his tactics. Obviously, the coaches come out to say he's muscular and blah 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 blah. I don't know why that was not needed before. Did the coach also pass this on to the federation or to the coaches, the national coaches in Tokyo? I don't know. What was the communication like between the two of them? So it's debatable. Being a Nigerian, obviously, I would say, yeah, if Adegoke had, been in tip-top shape and have finished, he probably would have claimed about it, the bronze medal. But it's like I said, it's gone. It's gone now. Fine, it's gone, but we still need to have a postmortem on what went wrong. Because if we don't, then how do we learn and move forward and work on what we have found out? So we now know that his coaches come out to say he's very muscular. We need to take care of him. So we now need to work on that, because if you look at the lineup today, most of the guys that actually ran in the final were not as muscular as Adegoke. Could that be what they eat? Just like Dapo said, does it have to do with nutrition? Does it have to do with proper stretches, exercises, therapies before every race? Is it something we'll have to look at medically? It's all lot of ifs, and to learn from it, we obviously need to have a postmortem and look at where it went wrong for Adegoke. But I think, listen, Adegoke has done what he can do. I don't think he needs to beat himself up. He's had a hamstring injury. He's done. He's a young boy. He needs to pick himself up and continue giving it a go. We've got the Commonwealth Games coming up next year. Who says he cannot be the Commonwealth champion? And then he used as a stepping stone to Paris in about 3 years' time. So there are a lot of ifs, there are a lot of learning points to pick up and to obviously work on. But it was a sad day. I was actually looking forward to Adegoke today because he's someone that excites you. But it's a sad day that he could not go further. But please, Adegoke, if you're listening, don't beat yourself up. There's still much more for you to do.
There's still much for you to actually do that. It's actually not coming from Owole at this point in time. But Dapo, before I come to you, we go for a short commercial break. When we return, we are still talking about the 2020 Tokyo in 120 minutes. Of course, you can send your comment to our Facebook and our YouTube channel. The big question is today, can Ese, Brume, can Tobi Amusan deliver the first medal for Team Nigeria at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games? Don't go nowhere. course, thank you for staying with us. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast Studio. Fidelis also, guest star to join us. Fidelis, how you doing?
I'm good, Wally.
Looking at our team Nigerian performance, Itsekiri was sent, actually, crashed out in the semi-finals event. Then Enoch Adegoke actually qualified, but I couldn't, finish the race due to the muscle pull injury. Let's quickly get a reaction.
Well, I think the painful part was that of Enoch Adegoke, who unfortunately his a glorious campaign had to come to an end just like that. We actually hope he was actually one of our medal prospects. We hope he could have actually gone there and bring us a nothing short of a gold medal. But so unfortunate that it happened like that. Where it's a hamstring, and in sports that's one of the most common things that happens to athletes. And they're talking about hamstring. We just hope that he gets well. He recovers very quickly, and we wish him the best of luck in the coming competitions that he will feature in.
Of course, the first time Adegoke competed in an international event was in 2018 Commonwealth Games. He's just 21 years old, and we expected to see him actually get to mature, get to reach the level, if not past the level of Fasuba, DJ, and the rest. But what will you be your message for the sports ministry? Because we know several cases we have seen athletes, they actually get injured and they will be abandoned by the government, and they will actually allow the athlete to actually treat himself. But at this point in time, what should the sports ministry do to ensure that back to his feet again?
Well, as it is now, Adegoke is a jewel for Team Nigeria. It's a jewel for Team Nigeria, and everything should be done for his perfect recovery. In the past, when athletes get injured, they will tell them, go and treat yourself. It has happened in football, in almost all the sports. But it's very sad that is actually coming from Nigeria after these athletes must have served meritoriously, did everything, put their life to compete for you, to ensure you win, to ensure your name is on the world map of sport. But afterwards, they just dump them. It's called use and dump. That's why most athletes, when the issue is allowances, bonuses, they will put everything. Please let me get my deals and get out of here, because I know that if I get injured, nothing for me. But in this case, must be different. Adegoke in the heat, around 9.98. That is superhuman for a very, very fantastic time he got in one of the heats, and that tells you what lies ahead for an athlete, a sprinter, and 100 meters, runner like Adegoke. He can also do well in 200 meters, because if you have a bullet speed to run 100 meters, you can use that bullet speed for the first 100, then you improve on the remaining 100 for 200 meters. So in this case, Adegoke should be pampered by Team Nigeria. If we have only Team Nigeria when we have major games, the whole thing should be directed to the sport ministry, and indeed to the Nigerian Olympic Committee and also the Athletic Federation of Nigeria. They should combine their arts and ensure Adegoke gets the best of treatment. Just like I pointed out earlier when I was discussing with Wale, my brother Wale, and also monitor his diet. It may be that the kind of, is a Nigerian man, the kind of food he loves so much may actually contain something that is too much for an athlete of his caliber. It may not actually be too compatible with somebody who is muscular like Adegoke. So that's why, aside from ensuring perfect treatment, perfect recovery for him, they should have dietary experts. Dietitians should be attached to him and the other elite athletes for Nigeria. It is done in other countries. Adegoke cannot be an American runner, and in the finals, just like that, it is not done. Everything is encompassing. Everything must be put in place. And this is also, we've had a number of, including the team captain. His coach is not in Tokyo, was not in Tokyo with him to compete. The same thing with some of these top athletes. Also, I had Shakiri coach complaining that he knows how to treat the athletes at the highest point. So all these things should be put together. But basically, the treatment, recovery of Adegoke is very, very paramount. Recovery from hamstring takes nothing but from 6 weeks to 6 months. The recovery rate, there should not be any hasty return. If you return hastily without proper healing of an hamstring, you are going to get another one. They should follow the timetable of a qualified and an expert doctor, sport medicine doctor, not just doctor in the hospital. We have doctors for sport medicine. They are specialists for athletes. We are not talking about taking him to the most expensive hospital. It will be counterproductive. So please, his recovery rate, you should get a dietitian for him. They should also monitor everything he eats. It's not that because he's an African, I don't know the state it comes from, because we've seen in the past athletes asking for their local cuisine before competing, or when they get there, they want to ensure that every day they will be eating their traditional food because it's what they are comfortable with, but it's not compatible with your body chemistry. And this is what actually happened to Adegoke and also Itsekiri. There's something they are eating that they have been used to eating it, and they are still eating it. But it's not compatible for the kind of sports they do. It's not as an elite athlete, it's not everything that is food that you put into your mouth. It must be checked. All the composition of such food must be checked by experts. That is what they call all-encompassing. Sport management is all-encompassing. It's not that, he runs fast, let him go and run. What about the kind of food he eats? What about therapy for his body? What about his body condition? So please, I want to employ the Sports Ministry, the Nigerian Olympic Committee, and also the Athletic Federation of Nigeria to put their hands together to ensure a perfect recovery for Adegoke. It's our joy. In the next Olympics, even in the next World Championship, in the next Commonwealth Games, you will see the wonders that Enoch Adegoke will do for Nigeria. For him to have actually run 9.98 seconds in 100 meters in Tokyo in the heat, is bound to do much more better. Is bound to run better time for Nigeria in future.
For Nigeria in future, but let me just quickly, read out the names of the athletes. They have run 10 seconds in the 100 meters event. Looking at number one, Olasoji Fasuba. He actually have the record of 9.85 seconds. Divine Oduduru have the record of 9.86 seconds. Sheun Ogukoya has 9.92 seconds. Davidson Ezenwa has 9.94 seconds. Olapade Adenike has 9.95 seconds. Deji Aliu has 9.95 seconds. Raymond also has 9.96 seconds. Francis Obikwelu has 9.97. I have 9.97 seconds. Uchenna Emadolu has 9.97 seconds. Daniel Elfiong has 9.98 seconds, while Enoch Adegoke has 9.89 seconds. That is the list. 11 Nigerian athletes has run under 10 seconds of time in the 100 meters event. Let's just quickly talk about any hopes for him to get to the podium. We know that the next competition he is expected to participate in will be the 2022 Commonwealth Games in London. Do you see him getting to reach the podium finish?
Absolutely. I mean, with this kind of performance he puts up, especially in the semi-final, there's always room for improvement. So I expect that since he has another opportunity of participating next year in the Commonwealth Games, he he can go on better and actually, make a proper statement at the Commonwealth Games coming up next year. So I really expect big things from Enoch. So very unfortunate that he had to, his Olympic had to end this way. But the Commonwealth is coming up in another 2 years after the Commonwealth Games. There's still another Olympic. So, but by then he should be at the peak. At his peak. So I really hope him to make up, for everything that happened to him in this Olympic at the Commonwealth Games and in other competitions.
Fidelis, are you hopeful that you can get a medal at the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, surely. From the display we've seen so far, even though it had to end like this, but you know that he's one to beat in a major competition, and I don't hope any person, as I just said, we believe he can go out there and do us good in any competition. So I believe he can do us good in the very Commonwealth Games when it gets there.
Of course, Fidelis is saying Enoch Adegoke can actually, get to do us good in the Commonwealth Games and in other competition that will be coming up. We just want to wish him all the best. The government talking about the sports ministry, even the sports minister has actually come out to say that preparations are all going for him to have a good, medical treatment so that he can actually, come back to his feet and on the track for him to do what he has to do best at this point in time. Moving away from Enoch Adegoke, we head straight to another Nigerian athlete who will actually qualified for the long jump women's event. Talking about Ese Brume, she actually qualified for the finals after jumping 6.76 meters in that particular one. She actually surpassed the automatic qualification mark of 6.75 meters in that particular event. The last World Championship in Doha, she came third. She won a bronze medal for Nigeria, and she is the African record holder when it comes to the long jump. And at this point in time, she's expected, to do the nation proud in the finals. But looking at her performance earlier today, do you think we now have a glimmer hope of winning a medal at the Olympic Games?
Well, speaking as a Nigerian, of course, definitely, we could only wish and hope. I don't want to say pray. Using pray so long.
So today is Sunday. I can excuse you for that.
So we can pray today.
Yes,
okay.
we can pray today.
So we can only pray that maybe perhaps the spirit of the African spirit drives her through this one, because this Olympic has been very, very dramatic for us, but no pressure on her. She should just, push it and do the best she can. That is all we can, because the distractions already from the team overall has been it's enough to weigh on one psychologically. But we can only encourage her and pray that she gets to ride above that, all of the drama that has been playing out in the camp, and just push it through. She can be sure that the over 200 million Nigerians have her, on their minds and want her to succeed. Yeah.
Of course, they want her to succeed. The first time a Nigerian get to win the long jump event was in Atlanta, 1996. Talking about Choma Ajowa. She was the first Nigerian to win an individual gold medal in the athletics event, and it's just so good that it was in the long jump event. Taking a look at the performance of Ese Brume so far, do you think she can actually get to win the gold medal?
Wonderful performance, we are all aware in Doha 2 years ago, she, won the bronze medals. And the World Championships is not too different from, the Olympics. The quality of athletes that perform at the World, Championships are these
same athletes.
Yeah, same athletes. So, if she, could, achieve that sort of feat at the World Championships, I mean, she's in good company. She can only do better, and I really expect her to do better. So I won't be surprised if, she she wins a gold medal in this one. And I really hope that she does that. You know, like you said, since Chioma Ajunwa did that in 1996 in Atlanta, that's like 25 years ago. You know, no Nigerian has come this close. You know, this is the closest we've ever been in a very, very long time. In over 2 decades now, you know, of clinching a gold medal, especially in the long jump event. So I'm really rooting for her, and I hope that she replicates the success that Chioma Ajunwa had 25 years ago, and we'll see how it goes. But I really hope she clinches a medal this time around.
Wale, looking at Ese Brume, interestingly, she's 20 years old, and she was born in 1996, and that was the last time we won a gold medal in the long jump event. But looking at this point in time, is there any hope? Can you bank your money on Ese Brume to actually win a medal for Nigeria, not minding any coloration, gold, silver, or bronze?
I think it's a good omen. Born 1996, Chioma won the gold medal for us in 1996. It's a good omen. If you're very metaphysical in nature, or you're very spiritual, as I beg to use, because we're still Sunday. I think it probably spells a good omen that Ese would will win the gold medal. But I think seriously, she is definitely a top athlete. She's someone who is very humble, and she takes us event very seriously. She had a good jump when she jumped. Don't forget that there were other 2 very good jump ahead of her. So there are probably a lot of very good strong contenders also there. At this rate, any medal will do for me. Even if it's zinc medal, if there's anything called zinc medal, it will do for me, because I just want Nigeria's name to be on that medal table. I've had a lot of people badmouthing me here that you guys are just a big nation for nothing. When you see tiny countries winning medals, and then you're looking at your one and you're thinking, come on guys, come on, let's get one. But like I said from the beginning of this show, right from episode 1, I've always thought that Ese is someone who would go all out and get us a medal. The color of the medal now I do not know, but if he asks me, just like he asked me a question, if I'm willing to stake my money out for if Ese is going to come back home, I'll probably be on the podium. I will definitely do that, because she's someone who is. I think since this Olympics, I think I've spoken to her about two times. She's very focused, and she has a very talented and good coach in Kayode Yaya, who is obviously one of those top coaches out there who knows her in and out. And so Kayode is also there. So that's a plus. We'll be there to give her advice, and obviously to let her know what she needs to do to improve upon the last jump she made from the semi-finals to the final. So Ese going for any medal, definitely. I am sure of that. What's the coloration? I don't know, but I tend to believe that she will definitely get us a medal.
Dapo, are you confident that she can actually give us a medal? Because the last time we won a medal in the long jump event was in 2008, and that was Blessing Oborududu at the Beijing Olympics. Do you see that getting to repeat itself after 12 years?
Yes, I see that happening. I see that happening with Ese Brume. Ese Brume is very, very talented, and she will definitely use one of her other skills to get a very good jump. She is a very good sprinter. She runs very well in 100 and also 200 meters. She used to be a training mate of Blessing Oborududu, and that was why she specializes mostly in long jump. That was why Oborududu also took to long jump far back as together as 2006. Far back as 2006, they've been together, training all together. Now, Kagbari, together with us, started with long jump. They did with 200 and 200 the sprint. They were there, but competitively, Ese Brume, has not actually been trained for sprint event. Her concentration has always been in the jumps, and she is mindful of the fact that if you jump and you say you want to run at the same time, the combination may be faulty. Not everybody is Carl Lewis. Not everybody is a Marion Jones that can jump and still sprint very well. And that was the reason Okagbari also concentrated with the sprint 100 and 200 and not adding a long jump. So from what I know of Ese Brume, she has that sprint sense, that sprint skill. So she will run when you run very fast and you jump with it, your timing, the distance, the meters you run is going to be very, very high. And that's what she's banking on, and that's what I'm also hoping at for her to combine to do Nigeria proud. With Ese Brume, I don't have any doubt in my mind that at least Nigeria will smile at the end of the day with a medal. Just like Wale said, and as always been saying, I don't know the coloration, but most importantly, let her just win a medal. It will be very, very good for her. For an athlete that has competed in the World Championship and she won a medal, winning the medal at the Olympics is not something that's going to be strange. So it's a familiar terrain, and she's going to go there. She's a world-class athlete, trained in America, and she kept competing. She's still living there, and I believe in Tokyo, she will definitely do something tangible, winning a medal for Nigeria in the long jump this time around.
That was confidence that she will win a medal for Nigeria this time around. Fidelis, do you share in that opinion, looking at the fact that Blessing Oborududu actually won the silver medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games? Are you confident that Ese Brume can actually get to put Nigeria on the medal stage?
Yeah, while the truth is that this time, I think just hoping it's not going to solve the problem we have in our hands now. We hoped for Blessing Oborududu, but something happened. Adegoke, something happened. Itsekiri, something happened. Whenever we hope, things seems to be happening, which are kind of against us. So I think now we have to kind of go spiritual.
Today is Sunday. Of course, we can actually we can actually allow it to go spiritual.
At this time, we just have to kind of go spiritual. So we just have to pray for Ese Brume. When you see how far she's gone, you see the confidence, right? The confidence is there. She though there are a lot of things to have discouraged her, from the sad news that we've had, even as of today, that of Enoch and Itsekiri, those are enough things to actually discourage someone. But when there are things to discourage you, you actually decide what to do with them. If you are going to get discouraged, or you see you pick motivation and confidence from them. So I just hope she'll be able to gear up her confidence, and she's already in the finals. Now just one more chance. If she can do it this time, then she picks it. She'll be able to go. I'm so confident with that. I'm confident about it that she will be able to go out there and get us a medal. But I still have to. Wally, we don't know the color yet. Let her just bring home something. Let her just bring something.
For Ese Brume to win medals. Also, cast sprint, talking about Animasa and the Eli are also rooting for Ese Brume for how to bring home a medal for Team Nigeria. But away from Ese Brume, we are still talking about athletics. Nigerian, talking about Tobi Amusan, who actually qualified the 100 meters hurdles or women's events. She actually won a hit in the first semi-final event, 12.62 seconds for her to book a place in at the final. She actually she is the first Nigerian to reach the Olympic final since 2000, since when Gloria Lozi actually reached the Sydney 2000 Olympic final in the 100 meters hurdles event. Alpha, let's get your reaction on Tobi Amusan. We know that she is a good athlete. She has won a whole lot of medals when it comes to the 100 meters hurdles event. That's her specialty. She won the 2019 African champion, talking about the All African Games. Also, she's a two-time All African Game champion. Do you see her with this huge CV that she actually have under her belt? Can she actually not deliver medals for Nigeria?
Clearly, I mean, she's an elite athlete, so no surprises there. Yeah, she happens to be one of the bright, sparks we've had in these Olympics, in spite of, the so many disappointments we've had to, put up with in the past. So we're really looking forward to her really clinching something as well. Um, I mean, coming first in the semi-final 100 meters is no mean feat, and I just hope that as she, goes to the final, she takes it a step better. And I just really hope that nothing goes wrong, a hitch-free, not just like we're here discussing about Enoch. We're all happy, went to the final, not knowing that something none of us were expecting will happen. So I really hope that she has a hitch-free, final competition. And on the day of the final, I really hope she is in top form. At least improve on her previous records. If she can do that and keep up, I really expect her to at least come back with something. So big things. We're looking forward for her to really do something special.
Of course, something special that Alpha is actually looking forward to Tobi Amusan to do, for her to do something special. But looking at her CV, she actually won the gold in the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. She won a bronze medal in the 4x100 meters event relay. Looking at All African Games in 2015 Congo Brazzaville, she actually won the gold medal in 2019 at Rabat, Morocco. She won the gold medal in the hurdles event. Looking at the African Championship 2018 in Asaba, which was hosted in Nigeria, she actually won the gold medal in the hurdles event. She also won the gold medal on the 4x100 meters relay team. Looking at the African Championship, where she actually started, she won the gold medal in the 2015 Addis Ababa Games. Also, looking at the African Youth Athletics Championship in Nigeria in Warri 2013, she won a silver medal in the 200 meters event. Chibuzo, looking at all her achievements, I know she's very experienced when it comes to the hurdles. That is her specialty. Do you see her winning a medal for Nigeria? Because during the last World Championship, she actually came fourth. It was just so sad that she came fourth. She was actually expected for her to pick like a bronze medal in that competition, but she came fourth. Now, there's another big chance ahead of Tobi Amusan. Can she deliver at the world biggest stage?
I think she can. You just reeled out her accomplishments over the years, and it shows an impressive record. If you ask me, it shows an impressive record. Perhaps all she just needs is to go that extra mile, and I think she has the capacity to dig deep and get that, as it is now, there is no need to pile any more pressure on her. It's just to allow her concentrate, and get it done. I just wish, and I could only hope that she has the right kind of people around her at this point, because what she needs at this point is to be really psyched up for this, to really be encouraged, and in fact, they should collapse all of the energies into ensuring that she's in the right frame of mind to embark on this one, because I can imagine the pressure. I can only imagine the pressure, because everybody seems to be falling away, and it's just her at the moment standing. So I can imagine the pressure. So she needs the right kind of people around her, the right kind of psychologists to talk her through this and make her understand that, hey, see, just go there, put everything aside, and give it your best shot. whether she has the capacity to do so, I absolutely think she does. She has the right kind of poise to do it. And then what she just needs now is around her to really cycle up for this.
Of course, she needs the right people around her to act for the finals. That is from Chubuzo. But before I get Awole Dapo and for a short commercial break, just to let you know, you are sending your comments on our Facebook, on our YouTube page. The big question for today is: Brume, can Tobi Amusan deliver the first medal for Team Nigeria at the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games? But for now, we'll go for a short break. Don't go nowhere. Welcome from that short break. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast. Wale, before we went on that short commercial break, we were actually talking about Tobi Amusan, a build up to the finance of the 100 meters hurdles event. What should over 200 million Nigerians expect from Amusan at this point in time?
I think we should look forward to a very good outing from Toby. She's a very experienced person. She's someone who is very keen on that sport. Avo started as a footballer. She started as a footballer before our coach actually convinced her to go track and field because of the way she runs. And the thing about her is that technically she's an absolutely superb athlete. I mean, the way she scales the hurdles, she's learned quite a lot. Don't forget, this is a girl that was the first Nigerian athlete to win a gold medal in 100 meters hurdles back in Australia during the Commonwealth Games. So she knows her onions. She knows the job. She's technically sound. I like the poise about her. She's slowly creating a cult around herself. She's someone that is very confident. But the only minus probably will say is a certain person called Jasmine Camacho Queen, who broke the Olympic record today in that other semi-final. So for someone to run and break an Olympic record in the second semi-final today, I strongly feel that's someone Toby needs to be very wary of. The Puerto Rican girl, who's obviously had a series of injuries, before coming into this Olympics to break the world, not the world record, the Olympic record. I see a final that's going to be very tense, and I tell you what, when we first started this um, series of shows, I wasn't really too convinced that records will be broken, but records have been broken. I see this final as very close, for another record to be broken, because Toby would not give an inch to Jasmine Camacho Queen in the final. It's going to be neck and neck. So if there's any other person that obviously in the course of the Olympics itself that I was beginning to find that interesting, I think this person might probably be a medal prospect. I think it's Toby. Fourth in the world. Um, sh- she's a superb athlete. Um, if I'll have to be specific now, I don't think anything less than a silver is what she's going to bring to us. But that's all things being equal. Pray we don't have no muzzle pull tomorrow, or disqualification, or tripping over any hurdle. Everything been perfect for her tomorrow. She's going to run a very good race. The least I see her probably bring, will be a silver medal, because I think she's worked too hard to get to where she is now. The confidence around her, she's definitely someone who will go out there and do us proud. Again, hopefully, all things being equal, all things being perfect, she would be smiling home, being on the podium. For once, we hear the national anthem of Nigeria blasting. Hopefully, if not, then we will make do with the silver.
We'll make do with silver. That's from Wale. Fidelis.
Well, when you go through her records, talking about uh, Tobi Amusan, when you go through her record, you see that she's one who's already used to medals, right? She's used to medals already, and I think that alone has conquered the part of anxiety. Right, anxiety shouldn't be a problem again. But I think the medical team at this time, they have to learn from what happens to Enoch Adegoke. All right, they should make sure they rally around her now. If possible, hold her just like you hold an egg. To make sure that all her muscles, everything are intact, and make sure that they check her. They check her consistently and as quick and as possible, right? Because we can't afford to to have what happened to Enoch repeat itself again, right? Because when you look at when you check the hurdles event, is one that requires a lot of muscle. Your muscles are you're really gonna be using your muscles a lot, right? So this should make sure that they rally around avoid what happens to Enoch Adegoke from repeating itself. And also, I just have to urge the minister, please don't go about start promising her. Seriously.
No,
You
no,
can't just
no
go there
house
and
in
start.
Aso Rock. Don't promise a
Yeah.
duplex in Aso Rock.
No
Not
duplex
yet.
in Aso Rock, no car, nothing.
We don't want that
just
now.
let her just do her thing, all right? I think at least they knowing that over 200 Nigerians are out there waiting for her to win a medal is enough for her, all right? We don't need all those promises and whatever that at the end we'll start pursuing and all those things. So there should be no reason to distract her at this time. Let her just do her thing, and we believe that she is definitely going to get us a medal.
Dapo, let's get your reaction on Tobi Amusan.
Well, Tobi Amusan is a very reliable, hurdler. She has done it before. She has won gold for us before at the Commonwealth Games. She can actually do it at this highest stage now because she's very, very active. She's calculative. She knows how to do a business and a business of hurdling, and I believe she is going to do the same thing in the finals. She was almost setting a world record, at the trials in Lagos, but something happened. One thing led to the other. The race was not captured in terms of the timing of that race was not captured. Urging her to go there to the finals in Tokyo to replicate that performance that was not recorded in terms of timing. Go and give us the timing that you wanted to actually achieve, at that trials in Lagos, there in the finals in Tokyo. She can do it. She's a very determined, athlete, very, very fast and quick on the hurdles. Quick on the hurdles, and she's also very quick in the sprints. So it's a combination of sprints and hurdles. So it's a difficult, despite the fact that it's a difficult event. She's going to. I believe so much that she will be there to do something good for us. Well, she's not the first person to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians, at the Olympic stage. We also had at the point where Alozie doing, the beats for us, but that time has actually gone. But she is a carbon copy of what Alozie is, almost the same height, almost the same kind of technique, the same kind of execution. So when she does that now, in the finals, now definitely something good will come the way of Nigeria. And then, Wale just said, maybe for the very first time in these Olympics, we shall possibly be hearing the singing to Nigerian anthem. There's a possibility to this because if Amusan should play our game very well, stage after stage, meters by meters, she will get it done. She will get it. She's a world-class athlete. You cannot take that away from her, just like other competitors that are in the finals with her. But I believe so much that she will perform something magical about putting our hearts together to run this race. A lot of things have actually happened, to athletics, even to Team Nigeria in all in Tokyo. I see Tobi Amusan, coming up to be somebody that will say, oh, with that performance, for us to rub all the pains away from our mind and say, okay, this is what and what we should be talking about now. At least Nigeria did not go to Tokyo empty-handed. I believe that will not happen. That will not happen. I believe so. One way or the other, something definitely will come for Nigeria. For Tobi Amusan, I see her going all the way. We were thinking, Ese Brume, we also do something, definite. But for Amusan, let us go. Let's go there. That's my watchword for her. Please, let's go there. That blistering speed, the blistering, jump over all those should be that she wanted to give to us at the trials in Lagos should be replicated in Tokyo, and that's where I'm looking at it from.
A performance in Lagos should be, be seen in Tokyo. That is actually coming from that ball at this point in time. But we are actually talking about athletics, and a thought just came into my mind right about now. What is really wrong with the US team? Because we know that they are almost like the number one when it comes to athletics in the world. But looking at the women's final, they didn't actually get to win any medal. It was the Jamaicans that swept all the medals, the bronze, the gold, the silver, and bronze. Looking at the 100 meters men's event, it was an Italian that actually get to win the race. But at this point in time, what is really wrong with United States of America?
Difficult to, at this point to put my finger on, what's really wrong. Um, Maybe they didn't take, the quality of athletes that we know them for, in over the years to this year's Olympics. But of course, the Jamaicans are always, when it comes to athletics, and most times in the past, it always used to be a tussle between the Jamaicans and the Americans. But in this Olympics, somehow in the athletics event, the Americans, haven't really, live up to expectations, haven't really performed as we usually know them to in the Olympics. So I really don't know what could be wrong. Maybe the quality of athletes, maybe they haven't really produced, the kind of athletes who, used to, dominate the sport over the years. So I can't really say what the issue is in the 2022 Olympics this time around.
Wale, what is wrong with the US team at this point in time?
Um, I think I think they're probably going through a recycling, and don't forget that the we now see other sports coming up. Okay, if you look at the past U.S. Athletes that have made names, we're talking Dapo made mention of Marion Jones, Gail Divas, Calvin Lewis, Michael Johnson, all black people, that have thrived in the sprint, in the 400 meters, and the long jump and what have you. But I know other sports are taking over now slowly. I'm not saying that athletics disappearing from American sporting cycle, but look at the other sports that are making money. When I say money, mega money in America now, we're looking at baseball, we're looking at basketball, soccer, football is something that's actually obviously coming up again. So people now tend, especially children growing up now in the US, are beginning to get attracted to those sports, especially usually the monetary incentive that comes with it. If you get drafted in the NBA, you sign a multi-million, dollar endorsement or contract with any team. If you get drafted into the baseball, it's the same. Even soccer, football is beginning to develop now. So I think the emphasis is beginning to shift to those sports, and and the glamour itself is beginning to shift slowly to those other sports. And again, don't forget that the Americans now don't have a real time hero to look forward to look up to in those other sports in athletics, for example. The times of Michael Johnson, uh, Kevin Lewis, Marion Jones, Florian Giffrey Joyner, the late world record holder, seems to have passed. So people are now looking forward. The younger ones are now looking up to heroes in basketball, the LeBron James, the late Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, all those people, the Giannis, they're looking up to those people. So when they think sports, those are the kind of people they when they turn their TV on or what have you. Those are the faces that they see. So when they continuously see those faces, they're attracted to them. And when they're attracted to them, they want to take up those sports instead of going to run or what have you. And I think the same can be said about Nigeria, because quite a lot of people, if you look at the number of people playing football in Nigeria, it's probably half of the youths play football because they feel it's the easiest way to make money. If I play 1 or 2 seasons in the local league, I might be taken by an agent to, I don't know, Azerbaijan. and dollars, which obviously when I convert to naira, it's a lot of money. So why would I want to go and run? How much will I get from running, from jumping, or from boxing? Will I be messed around just like what is happening in the Olympics? Instead of me just going solo to whatever country in Europe that will pay me in dollars. So those are the things that I think has affected American athletics at the moment. But you can never write the Americans off. We're talking about this now. I'm sure they're also researching and beginning to do, their homework on how to bring back the glory days. So don't be surprised that come 2024, you see the Americans, there at the full, coming back from the dead. So it's never a foregone conclusion with Americans. They seem to always know what they want, and when they want it, they go for it. They Unfortunately, I have to make this analogy and comparison, but they are not like us in Nigeria. That will probably not learn from their lessons of the past. They are working on it, and I'm sure they're learning from it. Just like if I ask this question now, I'm sure people have asked, Americans have asked themselves questions, those kind of questions, and they will be doing something to remedy it.
Dapo, let's quickly get a reaction on the run of the American at this point in time, or should we keep our finger crossed when talking about the relay event start right there in the Tokyo Olympic Games?
It's very clear. The Americans they won't win the relays. It's very, very clear from the races we've been watching now. They cannot beat the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans in the women's 100, they've got 1, 2, 3 Jamaica. And also you could see what is happening for the men. These are top notch now. The Americans, they've been at the forefront for some time. And if you are at the forefront for some time, there will be a time, they call it a resurgent, and also for you to go back and replan for greater performances. They were at the top, they were at the pinnacle for a long time in the Olympics, in the sprint, and all those athletics generally. They were the leaders. When it is the Americans, you stay back and watch them perform. But it's no longer so any longer now. And this time around, disqualification is this unbelievable issue with faulty batting exchange, lane violations. It is unbelievable that all this will be the factors that will lead to disqualification or poor performances of the Americans. They've done it in the past also. Wrong, faulty batting exchange and all those stuff. And also the issue of doping. They will win the race now after investigation by WADA. First position will go to second, and second to third, and stuff like that. These are the factors that affected the Americans before. But these days, is becoming to get into the performances directly, making errors as if there are some kind of African countries that are just coming together in international athletics. They are the front runners, but let's give it to them. They've done their best at the particular time. There's no way you cannot be at the pinnacle all through. It's just like talking about the Brazilians also in football. When you talk about football, you just want to mention the Brazilians because they will give you the best of the best. But these days it's not the same thing any longer, and that's what is happening to the Americans in athletics. That's what is happening to them. The law of diminishing return. But after some time, they will get back again, and that's my own thinking about it.
Fidelis, he actually said they will actually get back again, but let's quickly get a reaction on the US performance so far.
Well, the truth is, when you're always leading, it means that your opponents need to up their game, all right? And I think the world has learned from the US. They have upped their game, and now is back to the US to up their game. And I hope that while they have not gotten so much medals in this competition, they have not even gotten any.
The athletics.
Again,
they actually came as third in the 100 meters event.
Yeah, but I think at this time they just have to go back to the drawing board. All right, they have to go back to.
Where is this drawing board that you people always say?
It's right there. It's right there in the US.
To go back you keep saying go back to the drawing board.
It's right there in the US. They have to go back to the drawing board now. Find out, okay, what has happened over time. Okay, this is the aspect where this country has been able to up their game. Now, what do we do to make sure that we go back to our glory days?
Of course, they need to actually ensure that they go back to their glory days, because I know the likes of when Chong Senior was actually running those were the guys that were dominating virtually in the 100 meters, 200 meters, and the 400 meters relay event. They were the one actually dominating in that particular event. It's just so good at this point in time that the Jamaicans are the one getting to dominate. And from research, from reports, we actually know get to to read that the Jamaicans are actually training in the United States, and at this point in time they're actually taking all the tips from the Americans. But away from athletics, we head straight to basketball, where our own the Tigers they'll be playing tomorrow in the morning. Chibuzo, why are you giving it up already?
No, I'm not. I'm not giving up.
Of course, the Tigers they'll be playing host Japan tomorrow, 2 a.m. Nigerian time, and we were expecting to see them, getting to win. They just need to win a match in the Olympics, because their first two games in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games they lost against the United States of America 81-72. They lost again to a certain French team 87-62. So a difficult performance. But at this point in time, Wally, before you leave, kindly tell us what we should expect from the Tigers. They just have to win this game tomorrow.
I was speaking to another fellow Nigerian who obviously resides in the UK, and we were talking about the basketball, and he was like, every time I always look at the Instagram page of these girls, all I see them in, they are always posing. It's just singing one song to the other, and let them go and play this basketball and win something for Nigeria. I said, listen, it's not always like that. You understand? There's an appeal to what they are doing. In the past, no one probably would have said anything about basketball in Nigeria at the Olympics, but the fact that they are changing the tune, they're changing the outlook of basketball in Nigeria. People are beginning to pay more attention to basketball now, male and female, all because of what these girls and boys are doing. They're like in our faces. So the conversation has changed drastically, because in the past we wouldn't even have thought about any medal talk. There will never be any medal talk about Nigeria basketball. But now people are beginning to talk about it. People are now beginning to get disappointed, and it's a positive thing, because we had high hopes for the basketball team, the male and the female, but they didn't deliver. But they're a young team, and don't forget there's a difference between the NBA and the FIBA type of basketball they're playing. The boys are very used to the NBA type of basketball. They're not entirely used to the FIBA. I think ditto with the girls too, but they've learned quite a lot from this, and obviously their coaches have also learned quite a lot from this Olympics. So I think it's can only get better. So tomorrow, I'm not expecting anything superb. It's a two-way thing. It's either we win or lose. Japan, host country, they've been doing well. They probably will have studied our girls. We said the last time when I was in this show, between the last time that we played France and Japan now, are the girls going to suddenly learn how to shoot 3 points? And make all their 3 pointers? No, they won't. They probably will be able to go back to the basics, like we advised in the previous edition when we spoke about them. Go back to the basis of knowing how to defend. Even if you're going to lose, honorably. Uh, this one match won't make any difference, but it's going to make a difference anyway, because at the end of the day, they will be like, "Oh, we've been to the Olympics, we won a match there." So it's dicey. It's one game that I wouldn't want to predict the outcome. I just want the girls to go out there and enjoy it. A lot of them are, most of them are based in America. They'll be using this platform to probably improve their own CVs. get very good jobs in American corporate organizations. The university graduates, all they need to do now is to attach that CV that I'm an Olympian, and they go on with their lives, But the key thing I'm bringing out, I think every Nigerian should learn from this is we're now talking about basketball. It wasn't in the past. If football would have been in this tournament, we'll have been talking about football. Well, basketball has changed, and people are now looking at that idea that basketball has brought into the Nigerian sports. People should learn from it. I want in the next Olympics. We've talked about basketball this year. Let's just talk about probably rowing next year. Let these girls that are doing well in rowing or taekwondo or in wrestling, let us begin to showcase them. Let us begin to tell their stories. I bet you now that a number of Nigerians will be able to tell some stories about some of these basketballers, both male and female, because you see them on Instagram, you see them on Twitter, you see them on Facebook, and people are beginning to talk about them. That's a major plus. If we don't win anything out of this Olympic, that we have won. We've changed the narration. Why don't other federations also pick from the basketball example and let people start talking about them? Maybe that way we'll be able to develop, and we'll be able to begin to plan ahead of further competitions, and then we'll now become a powerhouse in whatever sports, including basketball.
Of course, we can actually become a powerhouse when it comes to the game of basketball. But before I go to Dapo and my guys here in the studio, we'll go for another short commercial break. It's still Tokyo 120 minutes. You can actually get to send in your comment on Facebook and on YouTube. At this point in time, we'll go for a short break. It's still Tokyo 2020 in 120 minutes. Don't go nowhere. Thank you for staying with us. It's still Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. Jaco, let's get your reaction on the match between Japan and the Tigers, because we know that Japan, in their first game, they actually defeated France 74 to 70. Then in their game against the United States, they actually they bowed to the world champions, talking about 86 to 69. Then looking at this game and the scoreline that Nigeria has recorded against France and against the United States, what area do you think Coach Otis need to work on? Is it on the 3-point? Is it on the turnover? Is it on the defense. That's all.
The players. Now it is time for them. They have the opportunity now to go there to redeem their image, to redeem all the expectations that Nigerians actually gave to them, the Africans actually gave to them. They are, African champions, and they gave the glimpse that we are going to do well until one or two things happening, until they started dropping their balls, until they were not playing effective defense again, until they started getting tired in the fourth quarter. I don't just know what happened, but it is time for it. It's redemption time for the Tigress. They can do it. I believe someone that they can do something. They will be a very surprised team in these games. Let them just try as much as possible to win this game against Japan so that we can forge ahead. If not, there's a possibility that we'll be crashing out, except for the fact that consideration may be given for the best losers, but I'm not seeing that happening. Well, I don't know the rules they use for that, but that is by the way. My own concern is that we must win this game. We must put our ass together, get to the courts, get your 2-point shot accurate, get your 3-point shot, which is the most valuable, accurate, and ensure you defend very well. Ensure you reduce the number of the turnovers. And when you are getting turnovers, let it be turnovers, that ball will roll out of the court for possibly what would they call it? An infringement for your opponent, for the Japanese. The Japanese are also very slicky. They are not too tall. They are very slicky. They are good on the ball, and they are also resolute about winning. So what we know of the Tigers before, they are also resolute. They are always attacking. Very, very an offensive team with very good coordination from the point guard. But this time, I don't know what happened. We are not even seeing anything again. We are not seeing anything. But I want them to let us see something against the Japanese. Give us a moment of respite, a moment to sit back and say, okay, at least we have a team, we have something doing in Tokyo. They've given Nigerians the impression that we are just there on Jamboree. We don't have any business of going to the Olympics, going by everything that has actually happened. I was one of those very few Nigerians that gave them so much optimism that we are going there to break records compared to our appearances, our participation in past Olympics. But a lot of us have been proven wrong. But I want to appeal. I want to appeal to these girls to please do something definite for us in terms of the Olympics. I'm not asking them to go for medals right away, but please, this match against the Japanese, let us just pick this game. The first quarter should be very good because normally we start well. The second quarter is always very good. The third and the fourth, which are the crucial quarters, they are the quarters that we fall short, and we've fallen short in the past. We should not fall short any longer. Again, we should have learned from those two matches. We should have learned positive things. The weaknesses should have been spotted by the coach, and they block the loophole. That is the technical part of any game, and I'm sure that should have been done in this first game. I thought in these first two games, I thought it would have been done in just the first game, but we saw a different thing. We saw a weaker team in the second game. I believe that there should be a resurgence in this third game, the third and final, game of the group. This should not be our final game in the Olympics, but it should be our final group game. That is my own estimation. That is what I believe. That's what I hope will happen, and that is the way I'm thinking. They should go there. We have the players. They have the experience. A lot of them play in the WNBA. They play in Europe. They must have played against, these Japanese players in club basketball. They must have done that. They know themselves very well, and they should know how to capitalize on this, on their knowledge of their opponent to win their games. Listen to the coaches and perfect all the instructions you are given. You don't have to go there and say, this is where I do it in my club. National team basketball, playing the national team is a lot different from what you play in your club. The national team is a combination of all the best players a country can present, and that is what we have presented now. We don't want no regrets whatsoever. Some say, is it because Evelyn Akato is not there? Is that why Nigeria is playing like this? Even if she's there, we may be also playing a worse game than what we are seeing now. But enough is enough. We don't want to see any half measure game again. No more half measure. It is straight to positive basketball. Please, we are appealing to the Tigers, we are appealing to the coaches. Also, we are appealing to the Basketball Federation to ensure everything concerning the psychology of these players are put in their proper places. We don't want anything short any longer. At least if we are going to win any game in these Olympics, please, for the female basketballers, let it be the game against Japan. Let it be a game against Japan. My submission.
If you are going to win any games in the Olympics, in a basketball event, of course, let it be a game against Japan, because the Tigers have actually crashed out from the Olympic Games. They lost all their three group game, and we're expecting that the Tigers will get to win their last group game against Japan. But Alpha, looking at the Tigers team, do you think they should actually sit back at the first and second quarter to defend, and in the last two remaining quarter, they should go all out and attack against the Japanese team?
That could be a very dangerous strategy. Supposing if you sit back to defend and you end up, conceding, how do you get back to even up? So I think they should just go all out. Like Dako clearly said, at least let them give us something to cheer about. I mean, the Tigers lost all their games. Going into this Olympics, nobody actually expected that. This will be the outcome we'll be getting from. The hopes were very high on both the male and female teams. But the Tigers just crashed out. Just like that, without even recording a single victory. And the Tigers already have lost two of their first games. This is a game that they just have to win. Like Tapu said, and I don't know if they stand a chance of qualifying as best losers. Maybe it depends on, maybe even if they lose, it depends on yes, results of other groups. So I really think they should really go out for this one and at least get a win. Medal talk, fine. It might not be. In fact, I don't even see it happening in basketball. But let them play for pride. Play for pride. Have some, at least salvage something. Let Nigerians don't feel like, okay, at least we even won a game, in this competition. Yes, fine. They have, tougher opponents, in other teams, but that notwithstanding, I mean, at the end of the day, it all boils down to what, your performance on the court. So I really hope that at least at the end of the day, we'll see them, put up, a fight, put up a good performance, and at least win a game.
At least win again. Fidel is looking at the Tigers. We know that we are yet to win a match in the basketball event at the Olympics. We have not won any match when it comes to the basketball event at the Olympics. It's just the Tigers that they have won a match in the Olympics far back in 2012. But at this point in time, the Tigers has not won any Olympics. Do you think they can actually do it? We know that we are the defending champions back-to-back Afro basketball. We have dominated the African scene, but we are yet to conquer in the world biggest stage. Do you see them getting to put all their best to ensure that they get a win against the host, Japan?
Well, while you see these the issue of this the Tigers and the Tigress seems to be what one could liken to the issue of a toothless bulldog, right? Because it's a bad omen when, as a tiger or as a tigress, you can't actually bite. Yes.
Instead of you feasting on people, they're actually feasting on you.
Come on, you need to. They should just go out there and bite. Let them go and bite a team. Just bite a team. A win against Japan may not really guarantee them a spot in the next stage, but at least this is a competition, and as the African the number one in Africa. You know, it's not going to it's not going to send a good signal to the African other African basketball teams that, like, come on, look at, you are representing a continent. You know, you should be able to show yourself in the world stage. So I hope they will be able to go out there in that next match against Japan, because that match is a match that a win could actually come home, or it goes home, because Japan, they are the host team also. So I hope they will be able to win the match against Japan. At least that would at least boost their integrity, you know, winning against the host team. So I just hope they will be able to bite the Japanese team.
Of course, Chibuzo, can the Tigers feast on the Japanese?
It's a good pep talk all around. Mr. Nako started. Oh no, Mr. Wale started the good pep talk, and it went all through. Of course, speaking as a Nigerian again, I want to be optimistic, but it's still, I still find it very difficult to play out in my head how they could have, how they performed so well against the United States, but got a serious bashing, you know, maybe not so serious, but at least recorded a very poor performance against a French team that is relatively a weaker side compared to the US. It's really tough for me imagining that the Tigers can pull it off against the Japanese. You know, I'm finding it really hard to see that happen. You know, but we can only be optimistic and hope that they do what they need to do. Whether they will be able to learn the lessons of their last encounter, it's even more tough for me to imagine. Because I would have felt that after the match against the US, we would have seen a whole lot of improvement. But it appears we didn't see any. It was as if they just, okay, it's one of those things. We just go into this one and see what happens. But I find it difficult to see how they're going to pull a big one against the Japanese. I'm sorry for sounding pessimistic, but that's my viewpoint at the moment.
It's going to be difficult against the Japanese. That is actually, you know, coming from Chibuzo at this point in time. But I feel the Tigers, they should go out to, you know, win. For me, they should just, you know, do their best. At this point in time, they have nothing to lose. They should just go all the way and attack the Japanese, and don't forget that they should actually ensure that during the last two quarters, they should, you know, defend well, ensure that the 3-pointers are on point. The turnover should be top notch. You don't want to see a wishy-washy performance from the Tigers at this point in time. We want to see a yeoman's job from the Tigers. But away from the Tigers, we head straight to the wrestling event. It's just it's a good feeling that this event is the major event that Nigerians all over the world are expecting for us to get medals in this particular event, because 5 Nigerians will be competing in the wrestling event, which is actually starting tomorrow. The likes of Blessing Oborududu, she'll be up against Elis Manolova of Azerbaijan tomorrow. That event will be in the women's freestyle 68 kg quarterfinals event in that particular one. But before we get to discuss about Blessing Oborududu, her quest, let's take a look at this video that every Nigerian also are getting to enjoy the vibe from that particular video. That was a video. That was Enoch Adegoke, and that particular one. This is the kind of match that will be coming up tomorrow, and our own Blessing Oborududu, she will be starting her quest of medals in the quarter finals event. Dapo, looking at Nigerian preparation Okay, we just learned that Dakwa has left us. But Alpha, looking at Nigerians' preparation to the Olympic Games, wrestling has been top notch right from the African preparation. We went to the African stage. We dominated. We have been dominating our own girl. Talking about Oborududu, she actually ranked among the best in our own freestyle event. Do you see now getting to do the magic for us?
She should be able to at least put up a good performance. Going into the Olympics, wrestling has always been, one event that I particularly has always been, looking forward to. One thing is in a lot of these sports like wrestling, we dominate on the continent, but when we get to the Olympics, we fall short. But even in past Olympics, it's not like we have done too poorly like that in wrestling. So I really expect, you know, something at least a breath of some fresh air coming out from the camp of the wrestlers at the Olympics. I mean, we were hinging our hopes on athletics, but so many things have gone wrong in the athletics, save for a couple of couple of athletes who are still there, So, but for wrestling, we have 5 wrestlers representing us. I hope that out of these 5 wrestlers, at least 2 of them should be able to, really go far in this wrestling event. So we'll be looking forward to that one, and I hope that Blessing, will, win this one.
Azerbaijan is one country that in the world you don't even expect them to do well in wrestling. But looking at the kind of confidence that Blessing Oborududu will be going into that particular match, do you see her proceeding to the semifinals event?
Okay, there's been this view that one of the reasons why Nigeria hasn't been able to clinch medals in the competition is because in some of the sports we have few athletes competing in some of the sports, and that could be one of the reasons. Though, but you see, in the case of this wrestling, from the start of these Olympics, I have been optimistic. All right, regarding having a medal in the wrestling in wrestling. You see, for the energy, the Nigerian team have the Nigeria wrestlers. They have the energy, but I would just kind of suggest, at this stage, right, it's not all about the energy. You have to be tactical, right, in your approach. If you go there anyhow, just I have the energy, I'm angry, let me just attack. Just one tactical approach from them could make you lose the match, right? So I will urge them that they should go and they shouldn't just go with all the energy. They should be tactical in their fighting. And I'm very confident that a medal would actually come from there.
Sure, let's quickly get a reaction.
Yeah, it's possible that we can get a medal or two, from here. But
5 athletes representing Nigeria, 4 female and 1 male.
yeah, it's quite likely we might get something here, but again, it comes down to doing the tactical things and the technical. It comes down to your technique, and the frame of mind which you go into this contest. It's not enough to know what you have to do, but doing it when you need to do it.
Absolutely.
And that is why you need the right sets of people around. I keep making reference to that at this point because I can only reflect on how the mood in the camp is with all of the drama that has played out. So, but whether they have the capacity and the capability to pull it off, I think they do. But they just need the right kind of people around them, to point out, what they should do per time, because a sport like this is very tactical and it requires a lot of technique.
Of course.
And knowing when to apply those techniques and understanding the opponent you're going up against is very key. So the presence of mind in the course of the tussle will be very, very key. Yeah. So if they can get all that in place, why not? We should be able to pick medals.
Of course, we should be able to pick medals in that particular event. Just to run a little bit down about what is going to be happening for Team Nigeria tomorrow in the 200 meters heat event. We see Grace Wakocha getting to compete in that particular event. The event comes up at 2:30 a.m. at Nigerian time. Blessing Oborududu was like she was expected to participate in that event, but due to the suspension, she will not be competing in that event. Also, we are expected to see the women's 100 meters hurdles finals tomorrow, where our own Tobi Amusan she will be competing in that particular one. Then basketball, the Tigress, and wrestling that we just talked about will be taking center stage tomorrow. Okay, we should head straight to the women's football event that will be decided tomorrow. Is the semi-final match, and United States of America will host will battle Canada, while Australia we seek to ambush the Sweden team. Let's just get your take sharply.
Yeah, for the United States, I mean that's a North American derby. Playing against the Canadians, and of course the
neighbors.
Yeah, sure, and the Canadians also have a very structured and good female football league, same as the Americans. So I really expect a tough counter out of that one. But for who will emerge winner, I really can't say. It's going to be a tough one. It's too close to call for. But as always, I expect the US, when it comes to female football, to do something. The way they started initially by losing to Sweden, I didn't even know they were going to go this far. I thought maybe the era of their reign was slowly coming to an end, but here they are in the semi-final. So it's going to be a tough one against their neighbors. So it's a tough one to call.
Fidelis, will it go down to the wire? United States, Canada, Australia, Sweden?
I think I will pick USA and Sweden in the final spot, right? Because they for the Sweden team, they've been so exceptional. They've been doing well, right, in the competition. So I think the both of them, because and let's hope that the USA can actually get it right this time, right?
Of course, Chibuzo, will it be a photo finish?
Yeah, it's likely to be a photo finish, but I see Sweden. As for the US and Canada, it's a tough call because these are two very they are good teams, two good female football teams. But as it is, clearly the girls at home have gone home, and now it's a game of the women. So let's see how it plays out. But I see Sweden in there.
Of course, Sweden for Chibuzo in the final. US, Canada, who's your pick?
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Of course, it's going to be a tough one, but we get to see the four teams, we get to battle for a place in the women's football event final tomorrow. Of course, moving away from football, we head straight to the medal table at this point in time, where the People's Republic of China, they're the ones still leading the medals table at this point in time. They have 24 gold, 14 silver, 13 bronze, making a total of 51. United States chasing the Chinese team with 20 gold medals, 23 silver medals, 16 bronze medals, making it a total of 15 and 9 medals. They have more medals than the Chinese team, but just to tell you that in the Olympics, gold medal is the most important medal at the Olympics. It does not matter if you don't have a whole number of silver medals, but once you have more gold medals, you will be ranked than the team that had more medals overall. But looking at Japan, host country, they have 17 gold medal. Australia 14 gold medal. Russia has 12 gold medal. Great Britain, have 10 gold medal. France, Republic of Korea have 5 apiece. Italy, Netherlands, Germany, New Zealand, Czech Republic have 4 medals apiece, while Canada, Switzerland, Croatia, they all have 3 medals apiece. Let me just go to you guys. Your final thoughts on the medal table, looking at what has been happening in the Tokyo Games.
Clearly, the Chinese and the Americans have clearly pulled away. In total, the Americans, have a total haul of medals. 59 medals, while the Chinese have 51, and the closest country, Japan, with 31 overall. So like I keep saying, and like Chibuzo will always say, at the end of the day, it's going to be a battle for supremacy, between the USA and China.
Fidelis, would Nigeria be on the medal table tomorrow?
I have to be optimistic about that. Yes, surely the prayer part is very, very important. But as it stands, even when at the end of this particular Olympics, it's still going to be between China and the USA, right? Because you see the gap between the two teams and the Japan sitting on the third spot, the gap is so much. It's still going to be the both of them at the top of the table. But let me just go with Chibuzo. It's a battle for supremacy.
Of course, a battle for supremacy for you, Chibuzo.
Yeah, but the US will be kicking themselves that one event they always had the edge over most teams, the track event. But unfortunately, it doesn't appear that they have that this time. But it depends. What more games do they have left, and what more games does China have left? I think they need to go to the wire between the both of them.
Because it will go to the wire between the two countries. But we are hoping that come tomorrow, that Nigeria should be on the medal table. Talking about Tobi Amusan should be, competing for Nigeria in the women's 100 meters hurdles event. At this point, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. Fidelis, thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Alpha, regular face on the show. You have been with us right from day one. Thanks for coming on the show. Of course, Chibuzo, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, at this point in time, we want to thank our sponsors. Talking about our Cast Print, they are the best digital printing company that we have in Nigeria. You can check them out on their website www.castprint.com.ng. Also, looking at NDLEA, they are saying no to drugs because of your health, and they are supporting our team Nigeria all the way here for good medals. Not forgetting NASA, who are actually supporting the show. It has been nice talking sport, and it has been good having you guys that join us. We'll make a return tomorrow. Call your family and friends for them to hook us up on tomorrow's show. It's still Tokyo in 120 minutes right here on the Leadership Podcast studio. I am Olawale Ayen. I'm saying do have a good night rest. Tomorrow is a beautiful week starting ahead of us. I wish you all the best in your endeavors in the coming week. But for now, I said bye-bye for now. God bless you.